Mr. Agnew, please.
Well, I think what really irritates me most about this scheme is that for those schools that partake in it, they're obliged to put up EU gratitude plaques on the school premises, telling all the pupils how wonderful the EU is. And I think this is a very underhand form of pro-EU propaganda, personally. And somebody's interrupting, Chairman. Do you want to have a word, Madam? It could actually backfire, because the children may prefer to drink a nice sugary drink and find that the EU is telling them to drink rather boring milk, and it may put them off milk for life. So there is a little bit of risk there. Second thing you have to consider is that health is not an EU competence, and yet this is being pushed on the basis of health. But I do appreciate the fact that the Commission has graciously allowed us to have subsidiarity be applied to it, so the Member States can make the decision. But this does lead to something quite interesting, where the UK as a net contributor, the government decides not to go into this scheme, but is actually using its taxpayers' money to subsidise milk in other EU countries that are net recipients. So there's a possible problem there. And I'd just like to look at Mr. Carty's point about local milk. Because the way the currencies are now, the Irish government may import British milk because it's cheaper, just because of the currency, to give to the Irish children in their schools. So you raised an important point, Mr. Carty. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. At this juncture, I can't see anybody else, so perhaps we can turn to Mr. Quarter for further. Sorry, Mrs. McGuinness.
Chairman, thank you for allowing me to take the floor. On a related comment to Mr. Agnew, just for information, most of or a significant volume of the milk in Northern Ireland is processed in the Republic of Ireland, and it's regarded as Irish milk. We don't know what will happen post-Brexit, but it is interesting to contemplate all of the consequences of the Brexit vote. That was your comment. But I do think we need to reflect very carefully on these points. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mrs. McGuinness. I can't see anybody else asking for the floor, so perhaps we could ask Mr. Quarter to reply to the questions. You have the floor, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I will do my best. There were a number of questions about specific articles in the Delegated Act. Yeah, and obviously I'm not surprised that there were again questions about subsidiarity and why the European Union is getting involved in these schemes. I mean, I think the Delegated Act is not the right moment to discuss these issues. These were largely discussed, hugely discussed, even inside the Commission before we even came to a proposal. This Delegated Act is just implementing the basic act that was agreed with the agreement of the Parliament. But I do wish to say, of course, that, and I'm happy that Mr. Agnew recognises, the text is actually full of subsidiarity elements, and we really try to accommodate a system that helps regions and member states to the extent possible. And at the end of the day, it's a voluntary scheme. You are right, of course, that there are implications for the net contributions if you step out, but no member state is obliged to participate in the scheme. And indeed, I think the United Kingdom so far has never used the fruit and vegetable scheme, like also countries like Sweden and Finland. They opted out, and this remains a possibility also in the new system.